Uh, this step is in reaction to a recent newspaper which said that Raila Amolo Odinga has started preparation for 2027 presidential election. That is hardly a month after the last election. In Kenya, everybody has a right to contest an election so long as he's over 35 years old. A person who is 34 and below, or less specifically if you are 18 to 34, you can vote, but you cannot contest the presidency. There is no upper limit for the presidency, and I have no issue with Raila contesting. I'm only concerned because he is on record that certain aspects of his political history will only come out when he has stopped politics. Now, telling us that he will contest in 2027 pushes ahead the date that he will admit, I will not use the word confess, I'll admit issues concerning his past. I have in mind two occasions when Raila was asked about a certain aspects. There's a time when a Nigerian wrote a book about him, Raila Amolo Odinga, the enigma of Kenya politics. That time he said that he had some aspects of his life that he will never disclose until he retires from politics. There is the journalist Kamau, who is on who writes articles every Sunday in a leading newspaper. He once approached Raila on the issue about his past, and he swallowed bitter saliva, looked at Kamau and said painfully and slowly that the time for such topics is not yet nigh. The good thing about Raila is that he accepts that there is some aspects of his that he would not want to disclose or is not comfortable with. I know, because I used to work with the intelligence, that aspect, and I first of all appreciate and thank Raila for accepting. Politicians usually, theirs is deny, deny, deny. But as for Raila, he has accepted that there is an aspect of his that he is not comfortable with disclosing. My opinion is that he has refused to disclose them because he feels that most probably people would really have a bad idea about him, and he may not even be eligible, he may not even contest and win an MCA seat if the issue is disclosed. Personally, my principle in everything in life is that place all the cards on the table. The only thing that you should not bring on the table is what you have forgotten. Let us tell everything about everybody. Let us not, like, I have an issue with those who support him, and even he himself, where he tries to only portray the positive parts of his. Now, if he doesn't want us to talk about his life in KAMITI, some aspects of his life in KAMITI, he's choosing what to say and what not to say, then I'd rather he just forget the whole thing, or if he wants us to talk about his life in KAMITI, let us talk everything. And then he should be ready for Kenyans to decide what they will decide. If they'll decide to forgive him, if they'll decide to move on. To me, I would want Kenyans to know, and I would want Kenyans to forgive him, because I have one of the principles which I believe, that a wrong decision is better than no decision. So he had, and Kenya have this wrong character, whereby you do 95% good, but they concentrate on the 5% that is bad. Let us lay everything on the table, all what we can remember, then we can decide on how to place him in history. Raila, the first thing I have a problem with Raila and his people is that they act as if everybody was at home. Raila used to wake up in the morning, fight for the second liberation single-handedly, come back, and then when he has won the second liberation, he gave it to us. That was wrong. A lot of people fought, and Raila was one of the leading, but he did not do it alone. And then we also have this wrong thing that even if he was the single-handed person who delivered it, that does not give him a right that people say, now, he's the one who fought for multi-party, he's the one who fought for what you are enjoying. Why don't you make him the president? All candidates who appear on the ballot paper are fit to be the president. Irrespective of whether you are a Gadi or a Mau Mau, when it comes to freedom, when it comes to selecting leaders, let us select on the capability. All of them are qualified, so let us elect a person who's best suited for the position. Now, my friend Jeru Gadangu was detained, and you see Raila had this international connection that when things got hot, he had the capacity of running away from the country. We have so many second liberation freedom fighters who could not go out of the country. So he's lucky to have had international connections. And again, detainees in KAMITI. My friend Jeru Gadangu was placed in a cell where on one side, you know, KAMITI was, I don't know whether it still is, it is also a home for mad people. When somebody is so mad that Mathare could not handle him, he could be taken to KAMITI. So Jeru Gadangu was placed in his cell was in the middle of two mad men. Imagine staying next to somebody in a cell for over 1 year, and you don't know how he looks like, you don't know what, but you know everything about his home area. Because whenever they would talk over, where unaitwa nani, and so that is how each and everyone got the information about that. So this man, for over 20 hours per day, he would just go the whole day, brrr, brrr, gang, gang, gang. Hey, beba, beba. And you see, staying for a whole year, that is the only thing you hear. That is the only, apart from the Bible, of course, that is the only way you can communicate with the world. Then one day, this madman did not talk for quite some time. Jeru Gadangu was concerned. He was concerned that maybe the madman was sick, dead, or anything. So he called him. The fellow answered him. Then Jeru Gadangu asked, Jeru Gadangu is alive, you can still ask him. Jeru Gadangu asked him, hey, na wewe, gari nini metendeka leo? The madman answered him, gari mepelekwa kwa garage, mechanics wanaitengeneza. So you can see the life there. And the worst part of a detainee those days was, the worst offense a detainee could do was something called kuiba jua. How can you steal the sun? This is what used to happen. A detainee used to be given 30 minutes of sunshine per day. Now it was arranged in such a way that one is taken, he has 30 minutes of sunshine, goes back to the cell. There was no way the two could meet. You remember Shikuku, when he went out for the sun, he saw the flags were half-mast, 2 to 3 days. So he asked the prison warder what is happening, and then he was told Jomo Kenyatta died. So you would only be given 30 minutes of sunshine. And what they used to do is that once you reach 22, 23 minutes, you start running away from the guards so that they'll come, drag you, beat you up. It is better for you to be beaten, but have at least 5 more minutes of sunshine. That is how bad it was. But on the other hand, at KAMITI, Raila was given a shamba. His wife sent him some seed, some fertilizer. Raila was given a shamba. He planted maize. Ask him. If he disputes the whole thing, just this one sentence, I will pull down this step. He was given a land, which I don't know how big it was. Every morning, Raila would wake up, go to the farm, start farming, plant things. And then in the evening he would come. So he had, you know, this issue of planting. And again, after the maize were ready, he would cook them for himself. So he had a preferential treatment. I want anybody to take me to court on the charge of giving false information, or be given an alternative charge of Official Secrets Act, because I'm going to tell you what I read at Nyati House. Raila used to give information, secret information, to the government concerning his other co-detainees. He did that, and recently Miguna wrote that on tweet, which is true. Raila, the system used to go and see him. They would go see him, he would give them information, the information would be used. And even once or twice, Raila even left detention, went and gave evidence against some people. The Daily Nation photographed one day, you know, the father could not reach him. So there's one day when he went to sell out his co-detainees, and the Nation showed his father, Jaramogi, hugging him. Raila had special privileges when he was a detainee. But then, every bad thing has a good thing about it. You see, Raila, there is a room where prisoners meet their relatives beyond the wire mesh. And Raila used to meet regularly. Patni, you can remember Patni later, and also this Mzungu from Naivasha, Chomli. You can remember Chomli also was there, and there used to be secret arrangements where they would get food from outside. So there's one time, and you know, you being in a cell, you don't know what is happening in the other cell. But because Raila had that leeway, he could move left, right, he could whatever, he could monitor. You remember me saying that Njeru Gadango stayed for over a year without knowing the face of the other co-detainee. But yet, he was, he knew everything about him. But Raila could go left, right, he could visit the people he wanted. He had that freedom that no other detainee had. And as I said, for every bad thing, there is a good thing. It was because of this that Raila came to know about Matiba's condition. So when, you know, Matiba was a co-detainee with Raila, but Matiba's relatives did not visit them. And Ida came to visit Raila. When she came to visit Raila, Raila told her, Matiba is in a bad state and he may not come out. And that is how Matiba's life was saved. Yes, Raila says that there was a prison, and there was a warder, prison warder, who used to be the connection between him and his family. It is true. But let me say this, as a special branch officer, as an intelligence officer, most likely that prison warder was planted there. Yes, you may think you have recruited him. You may think that he is doing you a favor and you are talking to him and you are whatever. But in most likely cases, 97%, that prison warder was planted there. Everything that was being discussed, everything was being done, he was reporting to the Nyati house. That one I did not come across, but I most likely believe that the prison warder was planted there by the system so as to do what they wanted to do. All in all, we should know about everything, including me. I want to challenge anybody with my past, and if I cannot say that I've hidden anything, but if I've forgotten anything and you tell me that you did this and this, and I remember, I will come out publicly and state it. So let us have the truth out, and then later we solve it. When we went, I was among the people who went and identified. You know, there was a sealing off of Nyayo House underground chambers. We went there, did whatever, and then so told the people it must be here. And then the wall was broken, it was found there. Raila is on record saying when people are pushing for Nyayo torture chambers to be declared a monument of shame, Raila is on record as saying that it should not be made a monument of shame. Lastly, from this long tape is that let us have the whole truth on the table. Once we have the whole truth on the table, then we can decide what to do. I have noticed from my special branch background that even those who are sellouts went through hard. Don't judge somebody that he was a sellout from the comfort of where you are seated. As I said in this step before, a bad decision is better than no decision. God bless Kenya. God bless every one of us. Amen.